Bootleg Kev podcast. We got two special guests. This is the first time we've had multiple guests on the Bootleg Kev podcast. Two close friends of mine. They just got a incredible body of work that they dropped. Was it last month?
Almost 2 months ago now, right?
Mid-June, right?
Yeah.
Blaze with us too. Demrick, let's get that mic a little closer to your mouth. Pause.
Okay, cool. Oh, pause. Big pause.
Anyway, what's up, guys?
Peace, bro.
What up, brother?
Thank you for having us, man.
Of course, man. You guys are fam. I was telling Demrick this the other day, like, this is a great body of work.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, you guys went through Smokers Club. Shout out to the homie Johnny Shipes. Like, that was kind of, I know that's kind of like a new offshoot of like what Cinematic does. What was the motivation behind like working with Smokers Club for this project, besides the fact that both of you guys are degenerate stoners?
Well, I've been a fan of Smokers Club for a long time. I always wanted to be a part of their festivals back in the day.
They had great tours and shit.
Yeah, they had a bunch of things going on back in the day. And when I found out that they wanted to start releasing music, I thought it would be dope to just kind of mix what we got going on with what they got going on, because they're on the East Coast, we're out here on the West Coast. So we thought it could be a dope blend.
And then you guys creatively, I mean, when you broke away from Funk Volume, or when everyone broke away from Funk Volume rather, and you started Still Moving, Demrick was, I want to say, the first artist you announced, right?
Yeah.
As a part of the crew. What is like your guys' relationship, your guys' friendship? You guys have made so much music together. I think a lot of fans just automatically associate you guys together. Like, it's got to be super easy to just like knock out a project, right? It's just like probably natural. Like,
I feel like we spent a lot of time like out on the road together, and we just kind of picked up the habit of just, getting off the tour bus on days off and renting studios so we could smoke and chill and make music. And I feel like once we got into the studios and we started making music, we like, first off, this shit is fire and it's really easy to create.
Facts. That's fair. It's almost like I got the vibe of like Method Man and Redman Blackout, like the new era of that with this, you know what I'm saying? Like it just had that energy, you know what I'm saying?
That's the vibe we was going for.
Yeah.
When Funk Volume was still going, I was trying to get Demrick signed to Funk Volume. So that was kind of like one of the last things that I was trying to do before the label dismantled. So, just going over into Still Moving was kind of already happening that way. So the vibe was already there. We was already vibing off of each other. So being able to bring it back for a second time, that's just purely being on the road, being inspired, looking at how the fans were responding to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, it's been 4 years. Maybe we could give them another one, And that's kind of the motivation.
I wanted to talk to you guys about like each one of you guys have storied independent careers. Like Demrick, obviously, I think the first time I met you, you were B-Real's hype man. This was like in 2009 in Boise, Idaho. I think Busy Bone was supposed to be on the show, but he was super late.
Yeah.
And he ended up not showing up.
Yeah.
By the way, wild Busy Bone story to share with you about that night, because I ended up having to pick him up for the airport later, and we did like a little offshoot like show across the street. It was, that guy's interesting to say the least. Yeah. But obviously you have a storied independent career. Dizzy, like I remember being in Vegas and when you were Dizzy D Flashy, and you kind of had like the youth like turned up in Vegas, and then you transitioning from that to Dizzy Wright and doing Smoke Out Conversations and your Funk Volume run. How are you guys able to like sustain what's going on with the COVID shit, not being able to go on the road? Like, what are some of the ways you guys are I guess innovating to kind of keep bread coming in on the music shit? Because I feel like a lot of people who are artists who might not necessarily have be the smartest with their money probably are like having a rough time right now, because a lot of artists depend on that bag, you know what I'm saying, to hit the back.
If you burnt through the bag and you was planning on other tours coming right up, you might be in a bad spot right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think for me it's just about getting consistent, it's as far as like always going, doing a project and going out on the road, doing 2 tours and then coming back and getting something else together and just kind of like keeping the process going. I realized that the battle's really won in the studio. So it's about locking into the studio and seeing what I could create there now that I have more time on my hands, to just take away the road shit, double down.
What about
Double
you,
down on the
Dizzy? Like,
studio.
obviously you got your store that's going, like, you got a lot of other shit going on, but like, I do feel like you've done a really good job of like navigating the indie game throughout your career, and even like since the Funk Volume shit kind of went away, because I know that was still independent per se, but like, I feel like you've done a great job of like building, like monetizing your brand independently since that had kind of gone away. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the things that you would kind of give pointers to artists who are watching this? Like, even fuck the COVID shit, put that to the side. Just like being independent. Like, what are the things you think that you might see other artists making mistakes with that you might have learned from, even mistakes that you might have made that you learned from?
Yeah, 100%. Actually, me and Demrick had a conversation last night that kind of like relates to this question a little bit. And it's like having a balance of knowing when you're doing something for your soul and knowing when you're doing something for the bag, you know? And all the bags ain't worth going to get. All the bags ain't gonna be good for your soul. And some of the things that's good for your soul ain't gonna give you a really good bag. So you gotta have that balance on being able to figure out, you know, what keeps you going, what keeps you driving, like what keeps the wheels turning, really. And for me, it's always, you know, of course, creating music. I'm always planning ahead. So I'm always, that's the one thing that the COVID shit kind of did to me. It kind of prevented me from being able to plan ahead, which I haven't been used to that ever since I got in the game and I've been navigating. I'm always thinking 3 steps ahead,
Right.
you know, so I'm never running into that time period and kind of looking around and figuring out like what I need to do, but more just like, you know, having a plan in place. So when I get there, you know, I know exactly what I'm doing. So for me, it's just really about like creating the music side of things and utilizing this time to work with different artists and be inspired by different artists. And, you know, we're all on different levels. So it could be somebody bigger that can inspire you, somebody smaller that can inspire you. But, you know, figuring out that hunger, finding that hunger and running with it.
I wanted to ask you, Dizzy, because you had like there was a stretch, right, where you were on the freshman cover and the Funk Volume shit seemed to be doing very well because the Warner situation had happened and your album, I think you were were you the only person who ended up putting an album out through Warner officially? Or did one of Hobson's album come out?
I think one of Hobson's came out too. Yeah.
And by the way, Warner dropped the ball on your album because I remember I couldn't find it at Best Buy.
Yeah, they did.
I was trying to go buy out Best Buy, and I was like, bro, what the fuck?
They did. And with
I remember hitting Lee Hero like, bro.
Yeah, the coldest part is that they told me that it was going to be a real rollout.
Right.
Like it was going to be I wouldn't even have told people they could get it at Best Buy if, you know, they didn't gas me up. But, you know, it's just trials and tribulations that you learn.
I wanted to ask
labels.
you, man, because, like, I feel like there's you know, I remember, I think I want to say the last time I might have saw you live was with Logic in Orlando, whatever tour that was, whatever Logic tour that was. Was that for his second album?
I think Under Pressure.
For his first album. Yeah.
Pressure.
But I'm curious, like,
no, I was on
Incredible
the
World
Incredible
it was the
True
second
Story.
album.
Yeah,
there
the
we go.
Incredible True Story.
But I'm curious, man, because like you've obviously done records with some of the biggest artists in the world, and like with the Funk Volume thing imploding, and then you having to kind of figure this out for yourself moving forward. I'm sure you could have at that point in time probably gotten a deal if you wanted one, and did the major label thing, which would have been new to you, kind of, right? But you decided to kind of just hunker down and stick to the independent shit. Like, why that, as opposed to, you know, trying to go get a deal with Atlantic or whoever the fuck?
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like I don't have the same desires as some of these other artists. Like, I didn't really want it all too fast. Getting it all too fast kind of makes me nervous. I grew up with the bare minimum, so I feel like I know how to maneuver off of what feels to me like a lot right now. Even in the independent game, I feel like the love, the traveling, the being able to create the music, it's what I want to do. Being able to work with different artists and like having a wide range of like sounds that I can tap in with different people. And I just feel like this is what I wanted, you know? It's not as glamorous from the outside looking in, but you know, I make good money. I own my masters, you know, I'm intact with my soul, my spirit, you know, and I do what I want, you know, I can move in my own pace. Like if something is if something don't feel right, I could pull the plug, you know. But I can also take chances, you know. I can I like being in control of when I want to like maybe take a chance, go out on the edge a little bit, and just that kind of like slow paced grind. So I've always been, I guess, like content, bro, with being independent and watching it grow slowly, and just every year is something new, whether it's the strains, getting more strains, or it's the store and people coming out to the store. I just see like if you just slowly keep pushing at something, shit will just keep unfolding, you know?
I was gonna say like everyone has their own success isn't always. We look at this music industry and it's so superficial, right? It's like people will look at you and be like, ah man, like, well, you ain't doing what this person's doing and this person's doing. But I think success for everyone and happiness is subjective.
Word.
You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
For a fact. And if you think about it, a lot of the stuff with some of these, you know, some artists that are signed, you know, it don't, when the curtain closed, it look a lot different backstage than it looks in front of stage. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever you feel comfortable with. Do you always? Sometimes those people don't have the right control. A lot of times they don't have the money. You know, you taking money, you owe people a lot of money. You know, the stakes are higher. You know, so everybody's in your business trying to tell you what to do and what not to do, and it just depends on how you want to do this music thing. You know, the cool shit is like you able to do it. It's big enough. The pool is big enough for people to do it every which way to get to it. And at the end of the day, you know, it's your legacy you leaving behind, and how many people you gonna have involved with it.
Yeah, Demrick, like you've been around some of the more legendary. I mean, obviously Cypress Hill, you know, Xzibit, serial killer shit, Dizzy, and shout out DJ Hoppa too, man. I feel like every time I see Dizzy, I usually see DJ Hoppa.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Hoppa, man.
Yes, sir.
He just put a new album out too, Hoppa and Friends Part 2. So go support that, man. That's the homie right there. But what I mean, shit, you were just telling me like Serial Killers 4's coming.
Yeah, fourth project, man, with dudes that I, you know, shout out Xzibit and B-Real. It's like I just remember wanting to rap for B-Real and just wanting to just get into. I was hoping that maybe I could get into the studio with him and do some songs with them, to being on tour with them, to traveling, to even tapping into introducing me to the songwriting or the touring and all of that type of stuff, and then actually being able to loop it all the way around to being in a group with them. And 4 projects later.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
You said with the 4, like you, Dr. Dre might be touching something on the project.
Hey man, you know we'll let that unfold when it unfolds. But I'll tell you this:
Maybe twisting some knobs. You know,
we shall see. But shit, shout out Busta Rhymes, he on there. Shout out Snoop, he on there, and DJ Quick's on the record. You know, and obviously
DJ Quick, that's big.
It's crazy.
For me, you know, it's like being on a record with Snoop and Quick and Busta. I'm like, damn, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm going bar to bar with Busta Bus. You know, if it feels good, you know.
One of my favorite guest verses or guest songs you ever were on. You were on the Faded record with Burner and B-Real, right?
No, I wasn't on that one.
No, you were on another one on that same album though. Was it
Patron?
Patron? Yeah, Xanax. I was gonna say Perks and Patron.
Yeah.
Xanax and Patron.
Yeah.
Yo, but like, what are some things that you've learned from being around B-Real, being around Xzibit? Because a lot of people don't know, man. Xzibit's like, a lot of people be like, yo, what happened to Xzibit? But like, Xzibit is a boss on some other shit.
Yeah.
He got his alcohol shit and his weed shit is out of here. Like,
Yeah.
And he definitely did the movies and the television.
of course.
And just
shout out to Triple X, whatever Triple X he was in. Was it
Yeah,
the one with
you
Ice
know.
Cube, State of the Union?
I definitely learned a lot from him just on how to like move through the game, and just you got to be confident and get into it. And he, you know, both him and B-Real also taught me about diversifying and having multiple different things, and even Dizzy. You know?
Dizzy's killing it, by the way. We're going to get to the goddamn, the Dizzy OG.
Yeah, well, shit, you know, shout out Gasco, because I got Demrick's Gas Lotto and Demrick's Mac tonight, and Kushco. We got Stony Point with Hoppa selling in the stores in Vegas. So it's like diversifying and tapping into these different just these different markets that are natural to
What you do.
what you do is a big part of it. It's like I've been doing this shit already for a long time, so it's just about doing it on the next level and trying to make sure that now you're putting a stamp on it so that other people could try what you think is fire.
Yeah, I wanted Dizzy. I wanted you to kind of give me some insight on like on the weed side of shit, right? Because you got your strain that's doing really well. I feel like I see a lot of dispensaries. I know it's in AZ. I know it's everywhere. Because I don't think a lot of people understand how the weed shit works, like legally yet. Still, it's still kind of like, wait, what? Like, so for you, is it like they're licensing your name? Is it another company you're working with? Like, how hands-on are you with the strain and the actual brand and the actual weeders? Because, you know, a lot of times people will just like license your likeliness for whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Is it like what is that?
It's similar to that. Yeah, it's pretty much like that, where they're licensing my name and my face pretty much. But back in 2000, I think it was 13 or 14, I was hands on deck with like helping create the strain, you know, finding the right strain. They were crossing a lot of different strains to try to find what would be the Dizzy OG. So shout out to Crown Genetics, because the Crown OG and the King Louis is the cross that we use to get Dizzy OG. And it's been that way ever since, you know. We knew back then that the weed was futuristic, you know. It felt like it was just strong as fuck, potent, and it was like the next level of weed. So we knew that it would live for a long time. So Dizzy OG, yeah, it's been doing really great. And now we got the cookies. Now we're doing Dizzy cookies. Where it's my first strain of cookies. So we tapping into something like that around here, starting in California. So I'm excited, man. Just taking it a day at a time, not moving too fast, you know, and really trying to build the brand, you know. My face is on it. Like,
Your face is on it.
you know, being able to walk in the dispensary and see my smiling face, man, I'm like, I'm going to push this shit to the death.
For sure, for
You
sure.
know what I mean? So it's been cool.
For a lot of fans don't know behind the scenes, I don't know where you're at with this situation, but I had a conversation with Dame, and him and Hobson are back kosher.
Yeah.
They're back talking. There might be something happening between them two, not necessarily music, but something, which I never thought would ever happen.
Neither.
Me and you, I mean, obviously you're really close to the situation, but, you know, I mean, you guys are my guys, and Dame's, you know, I've had a good relationship with Dame for a long time, and I thought that was like, when he called me and told me that they were cool, I was like, you're for real? The fuck? Now, I had asked him, like, so does this mean the gang is getting back together?
Right.
Now, this was like a month ago, and he had told me that you and him might have had like some weird energy now. I don't know, you and Dame. But like, what is that? What is the... by the way, shout out to Jaren for being one of the best people in the world. But what is like your interest in getting the crew back together, per se? You, Hobson, and Jaren, and maybe even if it's just a song, not even like Funk Volume coming back or an album, like just a record, something like that. What's your interest in that?
I would be down. I'm not gonna say that my interest is crazy high, like it's something that I'm just extremely looking forward to, but I would like to see it happen eventually. It's crazy because as close as I was to the situation, I disconnected myself so much. You know, when me and Dame kind of had our little falling out and the energy was kind of weird between us, I completely just kind of detached myself from all thoughts of moving forward in any kind of direction with like Funk Volume.
With that old shit.
Yeah, with the old shit. I was trying to figure out, I kind of felt like it put me in a funk a little bit because the fans were kind of like, you know, I had never did nothing to have the fans, you know, on my page or coming at me with so much negative energy. This kind of happened after the breakup. So it was kind of all
Like, I didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah, it was all kind of new for me,
Right.
you know, new energy. So I had to figure out how to shake that and like do my own thing. But I absolutely don't know the details about Dame and Hop right now. Like I was supposed to I was gonna get with Dame a couple weeks ago in Vegas and we weren't able to make it happen, but
He's probably stuck at a craps table.
probably.
That man is a gambling man.
Oh yeah, he gets his money. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I definitely think that I think it's a beautiful thing to see Hop step into his own. You know, I know that he's been doing some soul searching. He's been traveling. And I really wanted that for him as a homie, even back when we were on the same label together. So, you know, if he was able to like tap into some higher energies to make him, you know, see things a little differently and feel better about himself, like I'm all about getting around that type of energy.
And you and him had recently kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but you and him had kind of recently had a resurgence in your friendship again, as far as communication and like
we did
getting on the same page again, like just kind of communicate. Like, because I feel like there was so much, man, during that time. I remember like that last tour y'all did together. I remember like there was just so much weird shit, like Hops and Call It Out, Crooked Eye, and all them guys, and like just putting you and Jared like, like we over here catching strays. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like,
facts.
But like I had heard that you guys had kind of reconnected recently and like just kind of, I guess, came to a good place more recently. Is that true?
Yeah. There were some things that I didn't know about the fallout that wasn't made really clear to me. That I found out maybe 2 years later. I hadn't talked to Hopsin in like 2 or 3 years or some shit like that. And then I finally hit him and asked him a question. And from there, you know, I had realized that it was some extreme miscommunication when Funk Volume was like falling apart. So we was able to kind of hash things out from there. And then last year, I did go pop up on him. Well, he actually popped up on me in a Lambo. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my tour bus, but my boy popped up in a Lambo. So I was just super proud of him. And we was able to just, you know, get on good terms. And you never know, man. You never know. The fans might get something.
Is it kind of like a gift and a curse having fans like that?
Oh, for sure.
Because it's like you said, it's like, yo, they're hitting like I feel like those kind of fans, like, you know, shout out to Strange Music or like those kind of fans are so crazy.
Yeah, I tried to shift away from those kind of fans, actually. I kind of let them weary themselves out of the Dizzy Wright vibes, you know, if that wasn't what they was into. Because it's like, I'm not like fuck all the other rappers, but we fuck with you, you know, type of dude.
Right.
Like, I don't want those kind of fans. I want fans that are real. Like music, enjoy music, and know how to pick the shit they like and know how to stay away from the shit that they don't like. But I don't want to be a part of like, fuck this person, but you the GOAT. You know what I mean? It was just, but then again, you can't control how people think, and you can't control what kind of fans you have. So you got to kind of roll with the punches. It's just a learning experience.
That's fair, man. You guys together, this new project, you guys just dropped a video yesterday?
We did.
Day before yesterday?
Yeah, don't worry.
Has it been hard, like pushing, like obviously putting a new album out, not being able to do the normal shit you would do? Like, has it been hard to like push this project the way you want to? Obviously, you guys fuck with us. Look at me fucking with your mic, man. We're in close proximity. This is a first interview with 3 people, so excuse us. But I mean, even like shooting videos and shit. Like, I remember like March, April, like motherfuckers would get frowned upon if they're doing a video shoot. Like, you're a selfish motherfucker.
I told this nigga Demrick, we was looking at the situation. You know, I'm in Vegas and like we got this project and we had this whole plan put in place, you know, when we were gonna start shooting videos and how we were gonna roll it out and what we were gonna do, how we were gonna get the fans involved, all this shit, you know. And then the pandemic happened and I was kind of like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do to come and shoot a video. And then, you know, we had to kind of figure out, like, do we let this time consume us and then we, like, you know, then sit in a couple weeks kind of looking like, damn, I wish we would have shot that video at least so we could have something to promote, you know, instead of like not having anything. So we end up pushing through it, but it was weird.
It was definitely weird.
Fucking weird.
And if you even see the all night video or the We Ain't the Same, like there's not a lot of people, there's no extra people in the video. You know, it was a very small set. We shot with one director, Matt Alonzo, and you know, we first one we rely heavily on the concept of like playing these characters and kind of having fun with it. And then the second one was a lot of graphics. So we made sure that you know, because at that time nobody was even trying to book out a spot or that's this thing. So it was like, you know, we had to maneuver to try to make it happen. And
It's been getting more laxed lately, I feel.
Yeah, it's kind of getting into. I see people kind of maneuvering a little more, but yeah, a couple months ago, you already know.
How was you just did a show in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what by the way, shout out Oklahoma, great weed state now.
Yes,
a lot of dispensaries there.
I went there to do a weed show, actually.
I was gonna ask you, like, what was that like doing a show during these times? Was it like social distancing? Like,
yeah, it was, and I was a little nervous at first, but you know, they made it very clear that you know they had a spot for me that was kind of away from everybody, and I didn't have to do some of the obligations that I had agreed to originally before the pandemic, like the meet and greet and kind of like sitting down and judging some of the shit, you know, some of the things that I just naturally would go do at the weed events. It just ended up being me and Hopper and my boy Peanut popping up and you know, kind of just staying ducked off in the room, jumping on stage and doing the show. But I will say this, like, the show for me personally felt really good because I'm like, I hadn't been on stage in
probably
a
therapeutic,
while.
right?
Yeah, it was super therapeutic, bro. I damn near didn't, I was supposed to do a 30-minute set. I think I did 45 just off the strength because I was just like having a great time on stage, and I just realized how much I really like being on stage. So, you know, they were kind of far back and like they had them all social distance and like, you know, it's a weed event. So, you know, people were stoned and kind of just staring, but I was on stage like, you know, like I was at a festival because it had just been so long.
Hey, when this concert shit come back around and we could tour again, man, shit, whoever at them first couple of shows, they're gonna be in for a treat because people gonna be going crazy. They're gonna be going for broke.
Are you guys worried about like, because you know Live Nation announced that they're gonna cut artist pay next year. Are you guys like prepared to like make less money from promoters or maybe because I feel like at the very least a lot of venues are gonna close, right? And a lot of promoters are gonna like. I don't know how many are going to survive, especially like the smaller promoters. And then I don't know how long it's going to take for people to be super comfortable. Like, fuck it, I'm going to pull up to a show. You know what I'm saying? Even when shit is quote unquote back, do you guys think like that might affect like either like the bag that you guys are going to get or just the structure of the bag? Like, hey, if it sells out, you guys get a bonus. I know that those already exist, but like even more so that than like usual.
That's why it's kind of like that balancing, you know, the shit that's good for your soul.
Exactly.
And then the shit that's like for the bag, you know? Like if you a nigga like me that like thrives off of the fans' energy, you know, being able to get on stage and get off stage and then fuck with the fans is everything for me. You know, that's how I keep going. That's how I keep pumping out the music.
Puts a battery in your back.
Because I'm inspired by just the everyday struggle, the everyday life people that's just inspired, that's coming out to just all come to one place for the same thing. So I kind of need that for my spirit. I found myself kind of like feeling a little lost at the beginning of this because I was just like, damn, I'm not used to dropping a project and just being behind the keyboard the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's extremely difficult for me. And like my store was shut down, you know, and I'm just like, this is just didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, I think once them shows come back, you know, if long as you can make some money where you can walk away with some money and you're not losing money, it's a dub to me.
Push your shit.
Yeah.
Get in front of your fans again. Sell some merch.
That's it.
That's it. And I look at it like even with dropping Blaze with us too, is like we see the numbers and we like, okay, and you see the comments of people saying that they fucking with the music, but nothing's like going to that concert or going to that show or really meeting those people and seeing how much the music is inspiring them or seeing them sing the
like
lyrics. That's how you
y'all.
know.
Like, oh,
yeah,
shit.
you like, oh, this shit hit.
Guy in Tulsa knows every word of a project I just dropped.
Right, that part, for
like,
real.
Damn, I'm doing this for a reason.
Yeah, that shit will keep you going.
Yeah.
And then like getting fan paintings and shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I take them all home and hang them up. I keep them, all this shit. I cherish that shit.
What was Dizzy? You toured with Tech Nine a couple years ago.
I did.
And that's its own kind of world, right? The street music thing, and then also just touring there, like with them, like the rules are crazy, like the bus rules, and they be finding motherfuckers like Travis don't play.
Oh yeah.
like I know a lot of people who have either just quit those tours or gotten kicked off the tours. And how was that experience touring with Tech Nine and just getting into that world, and then also kind of just dealing with all the strange music shit, man?
It was like inspiring, but it was also extremely tough. You know,
because you can't smoke on the bus, right?
Yeah, you can't smoke. The smoking on the bus isn't what bothered me. I think it's the going to venues that I went to by myself that, you know, they have rooms for me to smoke in. You know, they got ducked off areas for me to be. You know, they like Dizzy coming. We got to make sure that we got a fan upstairs and we open the windows and let them be, you know, upstairs and away from everybody. And like, you know, some of those places we were coming to that had like those setups for me, Strange Music was shutting it down. And that shit was eating at my spirit a little bit because, you know, I thrive off not having no weed problems. I know I talk a lot about weed and shit,
Right.
but it's not cool to get in trouble for this shit.
Oh,
you
hell
know,
no.
you got to be smart. You got to move smart. And I dropped my first album on 420 in 2012, and I ain't never had a problem, never had a run-in with the police about weed, not once. You know, in my whole career.
Knock
On some wood. Yeah. Cause I'm not bragging or like showing off. I'm
Right.
just trying to make it apparent, like on how serious it is, you know, and
Especially
like,
in some of those random markets you be
yeah,
in.
and what I install in my team, you know, because it's not just me. Like, I ain't never had nobody on the road with me get into no weed trouble, you know? Like, personally, somebody that I brought, nah, nigga, we all on the same page, you know what I'm saying, for years. So being on the road with Strange Music and doing this for so long and always finding a way to stay out of the way, I felt like they kind of, you know, they don't want you smoking in the venue. They don't want you smoking backstage. They don't want you smoking on the bus. They don't want you smoking in the hotel. So it's like, where do you want me to smoke? You want me to go outside in front of
And then you might get in trouble.
the fans, in front of people, in front of businesses? It felt more like I was being put in danger, kind of like, instead of being ducked off normally. You know, and I called Travis and trip with him about this shit, because I'm like, man, Travis, I'm feeling like, you know, you niggas is putting us in like dangerous situations. He just like, you know the rules. It's just like, yo.
Was that the toughest tour to be on?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. I was inspired by Tech, you know, and just what he was able to build. You know, I'm just so inspired by, you know, him and what he was able to do and how he's able to get up there and the show he's able to put on and the
Do the meet
choreography.
and greet every single city.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He's really inspiring, and he don't complain. He loves what he do. Like, it's not like, you know, he's not depressed. He's not, you know, complaining. He's not drunk, wilding out. He's just Tech, you know. He's working out. He's fucking. But, you know, shit, I feel the same way. I feel like I'm an easy person to work with. You know, I just need to be able to, you know, do my little smoke thing when I need to do my little smoke thing. And, you know, maybe not blow it down on the bus where it might bring some extra attention to other people. But, you know, when you're at these shows, you definitely want to be comfortable, especially before you get on stage.
Exactly.
So it was inspiring, but it was also extremely tough for me.
I can imagine.
Hey, bro, honestly, that's the thing. That's like, we live in LA and Vegas.
People
and shit
forget,
where
like,
it's
it ain't
legal,
like that
and you know
everywhere.
what I'm saying. And like, when we traveling and shit like that, you get some places and you see how that actual state really frowns on this shit. And then imagine not being able to smoke in the venue where you're tucked away. Like, anything could happen to you out there in the streets if you're in one of those states. And it's a shame because 6 hours away you're good,
6 hours away, you good.
and then 6 hours here you like, oh, you know, so much is on the line. And so
I'm like, they don't even allow smoking outside in some of the places where they kind of wanted us to just kind of smoke outside.
yeah.
You know, it's not my thing. You know, I try to do well with kind of staying ducked off and out the way. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be blowing it down all in everybody's face and things like that, you know. So, but, you know, at the end of the day, Strange Music runs their shit the way they want to run their shit, and it works, and they've been successful. And they run it that way so they can keep law and order and what they got going. And you got to respect that if you want to be a part of that. I went to be a part of their shit. It was their
I mean, you
platform.
signed up for it, you know.
I signed up for. Now, don't get me wrong. I was told that I could do my smoke thing. Now, I agreed to not smoke on the bus. You know, I don't know if I would have. I don't know if I would have signed up to not for it to be, for me and my team to be put in those kind of situations. Cause you know, nigga, it was raining and snowing and
where you want
all
me to
type
smoke?
of shit. And they're like, yo, I'm gonna get fined if I smoke in the spot that the
Did
venue
you
says.
resort to edibles?
I didn't, cause on
Then
the,
you might not be able to perform.
right. So edibles is
Dangerous.
I like edibles when I'm getting ready to go to sleep,
Yep.
you know? So when I'm operating
Not
during the
perform.
day, you know, I just need to puff it down a little bit. I was just kind of like stressed out more than I'm normally stressed out on the road, you know what I'm saying? So other than that, it was all love.
Yo, look, man, quick break from the podcast to tell you about Odd Socks. All right. They're our official sponsor. They support what we do here at the Bootleg Kev podcast. All right. They got them Nickelodeon joints. They got these, shout out to Ghostbusters. I might keep those. Anyway, what you got to do is hit that oddsocksofficial.com. If you want to support what I do, the Bootleg Kev podcast, then support our partners, Odd Socks. Go buy some socks, man. Holidays are coming up. Oddsocksofficial.com. Keyword Bootleg Kev. You're getting 20% off of the most comfortable socks in the world. Shout out to Odd Socks. I feel like a natural thing that you and Burner have a great chemistry on records. Both of you guys, actually. I'm curious, like, Burn's known to drop just hella collab projects. I mean, he just put out shit with Currency this year and another B-Real project. Like, he's with either of you guys, has there ever been a discussion of doing like a full release with Burner?
I haven't personally talked to Burner about doing a full release.
I talked to him about maybe like executive producing because his beat selection is
Solid. Shout out to Cosmo.
Yeah, Cosmo. Yeah,
That's my guy.
The
Sacramento
beat selection is wild. So I'm like, Burn, just pick the beats for me. Yeah, I mean, I'll go in on some of these because he always sets the vibe on his records. The music is songs are dope, full in its entirety. But his beat selection is like, I feel like it's top level.
Do you got like Dizzy? Obviously, Burn is somebody who's kind of another independent juggernaut, right? Another weed juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? Do you kind of get inspired seeing like some of the moves Burner does?
Oh, like a motherfucker,
Cause
man.
fuck, man, that guy's killing it.
I love it, man. For a long time though, you know.
No, you guys. I mean, he was on the Warner album. Like, you guys have worked together for a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't like recently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I've been inspired by Burner for a long time, but just some of the boss moves that he making right now, it's just like, you know, I'm just waiting for him to write the book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got the complete pieces that I need because I just, you know, when you got that much game, you know, hopefully he feels generous enough to just dish it out so we could all get that kind of money. But I'm very inspired by him, and I just hope he continues to keep the right people around him so he can stay inspired.
He will, man.
Yeah.
He's got a very small circle. Would you ever do a? I think it'd be natural for you to do a Dizzy Wright or it's Still Moving dispensary in Vegas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to grow into that, man. That's you know me, I'm thinking that big for sure.
They just you just find one of the ones that's out there struggling and be like, yo, look, I'll just license the name.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show up, cut the ribbon.
That's it.
Yeah, because I feel like, man, that shit would be, if you have the fucking Dizzy Wright dispensary, that's a destination in Vegas.
Come
you know
on.
what I'm
Put
saying?
it in the air. Put it
That's it.
idea out there now. Let's go.
For sure. Is it how much you guys pay for weed anymore? Either of you?
Yeah, sometimes you still gotta, you know, you gotta switch some flavors up. You know, we get the pack, you know, but if you just want to smoke on the packs that you get all the time, that's cool. But sometimes, you know, you want to switch them flavors up a little bit. Be able to do that, you might have to, you know, dish a little out.
Especially right now because there's so many different strains and dropping all the time. There's always something a new cross or something new on the cookie menu or
Like,
over
shit, I
there,
wanna
Dr.
try that.
Green.
Yeah, I don't like not knowing the fire that's out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I like being a part of all of it.
Do you guys so the next thing I know that's supposed to get legalized, I know in San Francisco mushrooms are legalized, and I know that like the idea of microdosing mushrooms has become more of like an accepted thing amongst like
Yeah, they tell
commercial
people it's like
audience.
it'll make make you
I know
get
the
through the
guy
day
from
better or
Shark
something
Tank
like that.
like invested in a big mushroom company. Do you guys dabble in the mushroom game at all? The psychedelics?
I don't personally. I actually ain't never dabbled into nothing but
Weed.
weed. You know, I'm a scary ass nigga when it come to that shit.
You wouldn't do mushrooms? It's from the earth.
I know.
It's
and
not
people,
cocaine.
I know. People always tell me that. Maybe, but shit, I don't have no desire to or anything like that. Some people just like, oh, it'll make you get through your day better, or maybe it'll make you look at things a little differently. And I'm like, well, shit, right now I like the way I look at things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What about you, Demrick?
I've done shrooms twice, and I had one great experience, and I've had one not so good experience. So what
happened with the not so good experience?
Well, I had a piece of chocolate. And I didn't know how much it was.
Oh,
and then I just was watching a movie, and it felt like the person in the movie.
Oh, tell him the person though.
Samuel L. Jackson was yelling at me, and it tripped me out, man, big time. And I was in Philadelphia, and it was winter, and you're in a row home in there, so you can't really get out nowhere. And that's the first time, and they, homies had to sit me down, relax, give me some water, tell me it's all in my head type shit. And then I was like, I'm not going to judge it off of that experience because...
So Samuel L. Jackson was like coming out the TV on you?
Hey, motherfucker, what's up?
Say motherfucker one more time.
I'm like, damn, what's up, man?
Which Samuel L. Jackson movie were you watching? Because that also might be like...
I forget
Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah, one of them ones. And
right, where he felt like he was talking to him.
Shit.
Yeah.
Black Snake Moan. I don't know, man. He's got some that I can imagine were way more intense if you're on shrooms.
But I realized, though, that you got to be able to be around a situation where you can move freely, and it's good to do it in like outside in nature and shit like that, and really enjoy the full spectrum of the situation. So I went back and redid the experience, and
it was better.
Yeah, it was way better, man. I'm like, but it's still. I realize you got to be able to people who like to have control over a lot of shit. Probably not gonna like psychedelics, in my opinion, because you don't got no fucking control over that. Your mind start going where it's going, and you just
gotta go with it.
Hit the button and just go.
If
with
you
the
panic,
ride.
you'll get a bad trip or some shit like that. And that's what always made me like. I feel like I be one of them niggas that'll start panicking. Like, and I don't want to take no motherfucking chances, so I don't do shit.
Have you ever had a bad edible experience?
I actually had like a bad bong rip experience. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, like I had
too much.
Just trying to hit one of them big ass bongs, trying to just be the biggest stoner I can be at the time, and I must have cleared
I'm
that.
Dizzy Wright.
Yeah, I must have cleared that bitch, and I just this was back in the Funk Volume days. Like Hobson and Swizz was wearing those contacts.
Yeah.
And that shit was just too much for me. And then I remember Hobson took one of the contacts out and was like,
fucking with you.
I look like a devil or some shit. And I was like, oh, nigga, hell no. I need to go to sleep and wake up and start over again. Like I tried.
The highest you ever been?
It was the highest that I ever been.
What about you, Demrick? What's the highest you ever been?
The highest I ever been was last November in Europe. Xzibit always he likes to put a block of hash and cut a Snickers bar open and put the block of hash in there and then close it up
and eat it.
Eat it.
Oh shit!
And so for all these years of traveling with him, I never tried it. And so we were all shout out Problem. He was out there. We was all out there. And I said, fuck it. This time I'm about to do it. And so I took a piece of the Snickers and I ate it. And I got back to my hotel room and I started to feel my body. I started to feel myself lift above my body.
That's what happened to me.
And and then I just laid there and just let it happen. Eventually fall asleep. But I was on some next level. Yeah, man, put that hash in that Snickers and eat it.
Xzibit eats that normally?
Well, I'm saying on a day off. Let's say we do 6-7 shows in a row and it's a day off, and he's like, fuck it, hey, I'm about to make the Snickers with the hash in it. Who wants a piece? Typically, I would always be like, nah, I'm cool, you know.
Did
but
you feel like you had superpowers at all when you had the edible like that? Because like I had an edible once, and it was a really rough night for me. It was a Ritz and Yellow Wolf concert, and I felt like I could hear everybody talking in the concert. I could like hone in like there was like 2,000 people in this venue. Not maybe like
hone
1,000.
in on one conversation.
I'd be on the other side of the venue, and I like look at in the middle of a concert, just look at somebody on the other side of the building and hear exactly what they're saying.
Yeah,
you was tripping.
You was tripping.
I don't know if I was tripping though.
No, you was
I felt like it
definitely
opened up some shit.
Tripping.
I felt like I was like, yo, I couldn't move my legs though.
I remember when I had that hash Snickers, like I was like, fuck it, I feel weird. I'm gonna throw on like some YouTube and watch like a little movie or whatever. And slowly but surely the words stopped. I stopped being able to understand what was being said in the movie. It just sounded like
shit just started.
I'm like, what am I even watching? Like, just cut it off.
Edibles are dangerous because you can't like eat to get it to go away. You know,
You gotta like just let the high pass.
there's no other choice.
You gotta thug it.
You can't like.
I tried to get in the shower and wash that shit
Nope.
off. I had to look at myself in the mirror and everything. I was just like
off a bong hit though.
off a bong head, bro.
You're not a big dabber, I imagine.
No, I became a big dabber. This was before dabs was dabs. You know, niggas wasn't dabbing yet when I did this. And this was actually in Minneapolis. I had first got with
Shout out to Prince.
with the Funk Volume niggas, and it was like my first time going out there, and like Dame kind of had me running around watching what Hobson was doing, you know, as far as meet and greets.
Skating.
Right.
Yo, listen, you're gonna go play skate with fans. Dizzy, you don't know how to skate? Figure out how to skate. You're just gonna go show up at a fan's house and play him and skate.
Oh, facts, bro. But I remember I just started making my little fans, you know what I'm saying? And I went to go smoke with one of my fans and filled the bong up and tried to hit that big ass bong and was fucked up. Whole world tilted sideways.
Jesus.
So I don't like being that high.
How was the experience of you guys doing the album a couple of years ago with Audio Push and Jaren? Everybody was in the house together. You're the only one who didn't show up to freestyle, by the way. Everyone came to the radio station but you.
Blame Dame.
Blame Dame. Hey, I'm telling you, if Dame doesn't make some merch that just says blame Dame, he's tripping. But how was that experience? Because that obviously, I can imagine.
I feel like staying in Austin in the recording process was
great.
fire.
I mean, all you guys are boys. Audio Push the great
Yeah.
guys. Shout out to Price Head, Octane, and
It was
Jared.
great. When we all went out there, we originally
Emilio Rojas was there too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
we was originally gonna get in the studio, and then the studio didn't allow smoking, so we all brought studios. So we just set our studios up at the crib and just kind of turned it into like a little musical trap house, you know. And
Nice.
we were there for the whole week and just feeding off each other energy from sun up to sundown. You know what I'm saying? And it was dope. Then we were loving the record so much that we started going out and shooting videos and stuff like that, and like really adding to it. It's very similar to what J. Cole did some years later
With the Dreamville project.
Yeah.
Where he just invited a bunch of people.
Yeah, when I seen that, I was like, damn, we essentially did something like that. You know what I'm saying? But the rollout, and when it came time, just things kind of went left field. Like me and Dame had a falling out, and then I wasn't a part of the freestyles, and I wasn't a part of a bunch of different shit. And I think it took a lot of momentum away from what we were doing. But as far as building it up to get it where it was, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, the creation part of it. Just even tapping in with people, you know, somebody producing right there, another person coming up with a chorus, and then other room people working on a song, and some
all
people
you
did
guys
still
are
go to the
beasts
studio
too on the mic, man. So I
Yeah.
can only imagine like the friendly competition.
Oh yeah, had to level up every time. It's gonna be like, what you got?
Oh yeah. Oh, you had the hardest verse yesterday, so that means today I gotta have the hardest verse. You
For
know,
real.
like, niggas was in there, we was doing it. It was a lot of fun.
You had mentioned earlier that you had attempted to meet up with Dame a couple of weeks ago. What was because obviously you kind of stuck with Dame after the Funk Volume thing. What was the what was y'all's issue that made that kind of split? Because I remember he stopped fucking with you and then was with Futuristic for a little bit, and then he's doing his entrepreneur music club thing. But like what had happened between you two Obviously, it's better now, I'm assuming, or at least on the way to being better.
Yeah, it's on the way to being better. It's definitely, I definitely don't got no hard feelings for Dame or nothing like that. I guess, bro, I feel like I was the one to kind of ride with Dame.
Definitely.
And then, finding out that Hopsin wasn't making any money off of Dizzy Wright was kind of like the big bang for me because, Hopsin made it seem like there was money problems, but he never said that he wasn't making $1 from Dizzy Wright. I'm on Hopsin's label, and I respected Hopsin so much, and I respected him so much, and I was very appreciative for him allowing me to come out and do those shows with him and get my feet wet as an artist, I just wanted to get out of Vegas, bro. We was just out there all kind of doing the
Vegas
same thing.
Vegas is like a little bubble, I feel like. It's hard to get out of it.
It's hard to get out of it. And not only that, it's hard to get with an artist that has like fans and a platform for you to travel the world without it being like a major artist or like having to have like some crazy stipulations to it. So I felt like he kind of opened up his platform to me with open arms, And finding out that he wasn't a part of the come up with me financially, that he was pieced out of that, it just changed me and Dame's relationship forever because I thought Dame was the fairest nigga in the world, But I didn't know the logistics on the problem. And that's why me and Hopsin had to have a conversation because I had to call him like, bro, did you ever make any money? He was like, nah, and that's my fault. I should have told you. And I'm like, you let 3 years go by, nigga, with me running around with this nigga, and you didn't let me know, thinking that this nigga was the fairest nigga in the world. And it kind of blew my mind when I had to just ask Dame, like, was Hopsin cut out? And just like, yeah, because he pretty much felt responsible for finding me and giving me the opportunities, even though it was Hopsin's platform we was using. So I just felt some type of way about that shit, and I wanted to like separate myself from that. What I didn't do is I didn't say anything and I didn't like make it a big thing. I didn't get on my Hopsin shit and jump online and be like, yo, fuck this nigga, damn. I'm not fucking with him no more. I just stopped fucking with him and started doing my
noted.
thing.
I'm gonna move accordingly now.
Word. But a lot of people felt like Dame was still in my corner, kind of helping me out. And I seen the fans responding to a lot of things, thinking that Dame was the one moving with me when I was moving by myself for so long. So I just felt like the best way to get out of that was to just keep working, just keep working and keep doing things for myself. But yeah, it was a tricky little situation.
Was that the same? I mean, I don't know if you know this or not because I'm not trying to. But was that a similar situation with Jaren? You think, where like, did you know if Hopsin saw anything off of Jaren?
I don't know, to be honest. I always thought we all had similar deals, and that's why I always thought it was fair. And I just thought that what was fair, Hopsin didn't think that was fair anymore. So that's was fair. Always.
I mean, and hey, from his perspective, totally.
Right, from his perspective, totally, because he deserved to have a team behind him instead of just one person. So I completely understand paying one person for what a team could be doing and getting one person's results instead of a team results could make you feel like that. So I definitely just learned a lot from that shit, bro. And then going into doing Still Moving Records, my own label and shit like that. At first I was going to do it with Dame, and then I just learned more about the business. And as I was learning about the business, and I don't want to like make it seem like I'm throwing Dame under the bus because we're past this, and I feel like you live and you learn, right?
For sure.
Like I have no hard feelings or anything, but at the time, oh yeah, I was salty than a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I had rolled with somebody and I didn't know the full truth, and I didn't know how to feel about that.
Damn, yeah, that's crazy. Shout out to, I mean, like I said, I'm just happy that at the end of the day, like there's some sort of roadmap to everyone just talking again, I guess.
Yeah, I think everybody could have did better, and everybody still can do better, so you never know where it could go.
All right, so the album is out. Go support it. you guys, was this a one-off with Smokers Club, or are you guys going to be doing more stuff with them? Because I know you guys are obviously, I know you got hella shit coming out, and your album is getting wrapped up, right?
Yeah, I'm about to drop another album. This, I wouldn't lock it down as a one-off. Shout out to Smokers Club. We feel like they've been extremely tapped in with us and supportive to what we got going on. So maybe we can run it back,
What about Demrick? I know with the serial killer shit, you have another. Shout out to, can we announce the Tony Chalk Demrick EP?
Let's go.
Tony Chalk, bring your Vietnamese ass on camera real quick,
Let's
man.
go, man. Let's get it.
Tony Chalk, I happen to manage Tony Chalk, by the way. Shout out to Tony.
Yes,
my
sir.
guy.
We about to tap in.
But so your album is done or is almost done?
Done.
Okay.
We mastering it today.
Who can you tell us who's going to be on the album?
Chevy Woods will be on there.
Shout out to Chevy.
Shout out to my boy Chevy Woods.
Hell of a cook, Chevy Woods.
Yeah.
He's a chef. For
Oh,
real.
is he?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I think have his is it what
Cooking with Chevy? Like
Yeah.
he's like kind of he really be feeling himself.
I gotta tap in.
Just tell if we'll pull up, man. Next time you come to the studio, bring some of them homemade dishes. You feel me?
Oh, right, that part.
So that album's coming out. Do you have like any sort of idea?
Next month. I'm gonna drop it next
September.
month. I also got Beans on there.
Beans, Ace's girl Beans
Yes,
from the Netflix show.
from the Netflix.
She's
show.
fire.
Yeah, we just did a video too. So we got a video coming called "Sick of Complaining." I'm excited about that. Like I say, just working with different artists, staying creative, and staying inspired by people's hunger.
Demrick, when is Serial Killers 4 coming out?
It'll come. It's called Summer Sam, so it'll be out sometime next month. So we still locking in the exact date, but it's for sure coming out in September.
What is I know, Demrick, you be doing a lot of writing for a lot of artists. Like when you do that, like is it do you ever like how do you approach that creatively compared to when you work on your own shit?
It's really the same process, but I just think kind of like tapping into the energy that the goal that artist is trying to get accomplished, and just trying to more essentially write, get creative with that person, and kind of just keep that in mind of the direction that they're gonna go. But I'm one of those people that I like to make music. I can make a lot of music, hit the studio, and just get creative. So if one day it's we going down this lane, next day we doing some stuff for some television and film, or if I'm plotting on something that I want to do, then I'm just always putting a plan together. Really,
is it still like extremely taboo to like ghostwrite, or like if you're like a rapper and you have a ghostwriter?
I don't know. I don't think so. Just because I just feel like songwriting is songwriting. People get.
I feel like the Drake thing kind of made it like a little bit more okay, even though he got shit for it at first. But now it's like, yo, fam, Drake's still the biggest rapper in the world.
Yeah,
Suck my
because
dick.
the fans don't.
They don't
Because
give
the
a fuck.
fans made it clear that they don't care.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
low key, if you go back to like Kanye's first album, Rhymefest wrote Jesus Walks.
Yeah.
And people didn't give a fuck.
And a lot of those people be in the room with get creative. There's some people that like to sit in the room by themselves and they got the whole plan on how to get to A to Z. And then there's other people that like to get creative with people. I'm one of those people that's why I have a lot of projects with different people, because, whether it's a producer or different artists, and I'll be in groups. And then also, even when I do my solo shit, I kind of like team up with certain people to do it, because I like the team effort of creativity. It's like, I don't think that I ever was, sitting in there just writing raps all by myself, saying I was just going to change the world like that. It was something that I always did with my homies, that I always did with other creatives. And I feel like it's helped me in this industry to, just be able to hop on with somebody's team, and then also do my own thing.
And then do like it's the shit with Hopper. Yeah,
That's it. That's what. Oh, I love tapping in with a producer and kind of working together on a vibe and an energy, and that's how you get Stony Point 1 and 2, and Blaze with Us 1 and Blaze with Us 2, and Serial Killers the 4th one. And you know, remember, I came from a group, so that always has just been in my heart, I guess, the way I create.
Wait, which group did you come from?
I started early in a group called Tangled Thoughts. So we live in Philly, and we moved out to LA together, and we actually released a Corrupt Presents album with with that group in 2007, bro. So that's how far back it goes.
Damn, I didn't know that. So you were like rolling with the Corrupt shit back in the day.
That was it. That's how I even knew to come out here to LA, because we were hitting all the ceilings in Philly, and it just didn't feel real. You know, it didn't feel like we could take it to the next level. So to get the opportunity to come to LA was it. And especially with somebody, you know, at that point, Corrupt's already legend. You know, you grew up loving.
Yo, man, let me tell you something.
Shit,
Streets is a Mother is one of the most slept on albums of all time.
Oh man,
and Roscoe, his brother,
yeah,
is fucking fire.
Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
Like he could like rap.
Oh,
Both of them can rap, but like, I mean, obviously, you know, it's crazy when you think of Corrupt and like how, like I always remember on the Eminem show when Eminem like named all those rappers that get put ahead of him, like Corrupt was one of them, Redman. But I guess I wish Corrupt's career would have shooken out a little bit differently.
Hey, bro, but if you look at them plaques and them records that he's on,
for sure.
I'm like, God damn, like there was a point in time where he was on everybody's album, that like so many good
And
records.
shout out
like
to Corrupt's Moon Rocks.
Hello.
Those Moon Rocks ain't no joke.
And they've been booming for a long time.
Yeah.
Last question, Dizzy, this for you. Logic just retired to be with his family. Obviously, I know you're a big family guy. Like, could either of you guys ever see yourselves just stepping away from hip hop? Stop making albums. Just like I'm done.
I personally can't see it right now for me. Just that's why you got to just do things for your soul, man. You got to make sure, you know, I was there. I seen Logic's whole, you know, I was even on tour with him, and I really just, you know, I watched how he moved. I paid attention. I'm an observer. You know, you really got to move at your pace and make sure you're doing things that's right for your spirit, because you'll get into a position and it'll be overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you'll find yourself needing to step away or take a breather. I don't think Logic's done forever. I think Logic just needs a break from all the judgment that comes with hip hop.
Oh yeah, he's been getting
you know, and he's been getting it for a couple
tough
years,
shake, man. I feel like ever since the Everybody album came out and he kind of started to talk about his biracial like shit.
It's been on since
People have
then.
been on his head, bro.
It's been on. He ain't been getting no slack from that, and it was already tough for him before then. Just with the stigma of being like a white rapper, and you know,
he's like, but I'm also I'm biracial, guys.
Right? But you know, he wants to be known for what he is. So, not to get too deep or go too off subject, but I personally can't see myself stepping away right now. I want to keep inspiring, and I feel like I'm getting better.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Demrick? Could you ever retire?
I don't think so. I'm always gonna be involved in this shit in some kind of way. I mean, this gave me life, gave me purpose. You know, it's like once I started doing music, I fell in love with it. Then I had a direction in life. Before that, I just was out here. So I think that I could see myself in the same thing. Like I see myself, I gain more fans, more traction, get more opportunities, and understand even my story better about what I want to talk to people about as the years progress. You know, I still got I wake up every day trying to get behind the mic or at least find a play to do with some music that I got going or something. So my mind's in the game, but different levels, you know. Shit, you might catch me behind making a beat one day. You never know.
Come on.
I mean,
You
shit,
never
man.
know.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, look, go get the album. It's out. You guys each got a lot of new music coming out too soon. Any more videos going to be coming out from the project, or this last one was that the last one?
Yeah, Don't Worry was like the last one, the finale.
Kind of the bow on the campaign.
Yeah, well, we dropped 4, so we got All Night, We Ain't the Same, Medicated, and now
Don't Worry.
Don't Worry was like the biggest streaming record, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Boom. Well, yo, go get the project. Thank you guys for checking in, as always. And yeah, man, Demrick, Dizzy Wright, Bootleg Kev podcast. Boom.
Peace.